If you know what that is, then I'm happy for you, because you know what this is going to be about. So, I'm... Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. I'm Drew, here with TrebleChin Entertainment, and today, we're going to be taking a really odd turn in the terms of D&D character building. Because we're going to be building, basically, a character from a different fiction, and trying to make him in D&D as close as possible. Now, for those of you that recognize this little bugger here, he's a cute little magnet. He is Illidan from World of Warcraft, and he is a demon hunter. Now, you don't need to know too much about Illidan to kind of play this, but it'll help if you kind of go and find out what he's all about. You can go to a bunch of World of Warcraft lore videos and learn who he is and what he's done in the world. He's a really interesting, sad human elf person thing. So let's talk about it, because our core class that we're going to be using is the Warlock. And for those of you that have read the PHP, the Warlock is a weird class, because you've basically got 9 different styles of play with this thing. Well, 3 different ways to play it, but 9 flavors, basically. Because you basically have two choices to make of 3 different options each time of how you want to play your Warlock character. So your first choice is your patron, where you get your evil magic from, who your patron is. So you've got the Archfey, which is your kind of sort of like the elven lords of, well, yeah, your elven lords from a faraway plane. That kind of do their own thing for their own deeds, but they're not necessarily evil. They're just kind of there. They don't mess with people too much, but they do occasionally meddle in affairs. They're not that bad. You have the Fiend, which is basically your demons and devils and whatnot, to where they're evil, but they can give people powers for their own evil deeds, or to move up in ranks to be for them move up in the ranks because, hey, look at the servant that I have, and he's killing all of your dudes. And then you have the Great Old One, which is basically your Cthulhu servant, cultist type of person, which is interesting, which I think probably deserves a video of its own. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a demon hunter. So, what is a demon hunter? It's basically exactly as it sounds. You basically go and hunt down demons, only this version of a demon hunter, instead of the Diablo 3 demon hunter where you just were good at hunting them.
Yeah.
The demon hunter in World of Warcraft is you're demonically infused with their power to fight, to hunt them down and fight them, sort of like a fight fire with fire type of thing. So, how I went about doing this is probably a big no-no in a lot of people's minds. Because charisma is not the main stat for this person. No. Dexterity is. I hear the comment section blowing up right now, if we had viewers. But instead, you make your main stat dexterity, for a couple of different reasons. We'll get into them in a second. Then, the race, I've actually chosen because I initially thought of it, and then maybe I initially thought of it, that it would probably have to be a tiefling, because they have horns and demonic powers, and that kind of fits it. But there were a lot of elements that were kind of missing in the player's handbook here that just didn't really give that demon hunter flair. Because demon hunters have they have all these tattoos and a scaly, sort of scaly skin. They don't have a tail usually, and they got kind of demonic features throughout them. They don't have eyes, but they can see magically, sort of thing. But then, not too long ago, this little bugger rolled around, the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide, and they gave us some options for how like tieflings can be different and look different, and this was basically my dream come true for this character, because you can instead of like getting charisma bonuses for being a tiefling, you can instead get the dexterity with being feral instead. You can have wings instead of the innate spellcasting, which demon hunters have wings, and that worked perfectly. You can have like goat legs and hooved feet, scaly skin, fanged teeth, all of that stuff, without having to go about like using spells like Alter Self over and over again until you finally like get the look of it. But then you can't fly, so you have to use it like magically cast spells with fly. Well, the Warlock is kind of tight with spells. Because like the amount of spell slots that you get at 20th level is 4 spell slots. Wizards get 4 spell slots at like they get 5 spell slots at 3rd level. And they keep getting more and more. The Warlock's thing, however, is they get a lot of like special abilities that kind of go into their character. Because the Warlock is very choice driven. Like, it's not just the amount of like what spells you take to choose. Like you know a decent bit of spells. Like at like 20th level, you know like 15 spells. Not a lot compared to like the wizard, but nobody knows as much as the wizard. But you still have a decent bit of choice, and then you've also got some other abilities thrown into there. But what really comes into shine is the second major choice that we have to make, which kind of defines the play style. Because your patron kind of decides like what type of like magic you're going to cast, and what type of like person you're going to be, sort of. The Pact Boon is like how your character is going to play. Like there's Pact of the Chain, to where you get a familiar, like an imp, or a pseudo-dragon, or like sprite, or depending on like what your pact is, it kind of determines that. Then you have Pact of the Blade, to where you basically get like a summonable weapon, like bound weapon from Elder Scrolls series, sort of. And it's just like always with you, and no matter what type of weapon it is, you're proficient with it. So you could decide like, hey, I'm a warlock, and here's my great axe, sink, because you're like a clothy almost. You've got some light armor, so you can like wear leather. And then you've got Pact of the Tome, to where you're basically like the most spellcasteriest of spellcasters, which we'll get to later in the next video. So you are basically with the Demon Hunter. The 2 choices that I decided to go with was the Fiend Patron, because you're a Demon Hunter with demon powers. You may as well be a demon. So we went with the Fiend Pact. So you've probably been chosen by a demon to like help him rank up higher by you going and eliminating the people that are higher up than him in the demon tree. So, and then you take Pact of the Blade, because demon hunters like don't necessarily even need to have like their weapons out. They'll just kind of like appear in their hands, and then they go ham on people or things, depending on what it is. So it kind of makes sense with those, and because the Pact of the Blade gets some special attack stuff, which we'll get into here in a second, that make more sense for a demon hunter than like a familiar or a big giant book. But what really makes the Warlock and like your set of choices, just those first 2 are basically like how your Warlock will play in a general sense. Then you get the invocations, which are basically all of your choices that make your Warlock character yours. Now you can have these like however you want, but for this build, there are a couple that, like, for thematic reasons and like how it works, I would definitely go with. For like at the beginning, you get 2 of them, so I would definitely take like Armor or Shadows, to where you cast Mage Armor on yourself at will without spending any spell slots, because you only get like 1 of those at the beginning. Whew, that's rough. But you have a decent bit of cantrips. But we won't really be using those a lot, too much. So you've got Mage Armor that just like immediately puts your armor up to 13 plus your dex and whatnot. So your dex mod becomes mostly your armor class as well. So like you may start with like 16. Well, there you go. Now you have 16 AC without armor on, and you can kind of like I'd like to think of the invocations as sort of especially with like the Fiend or the Great Old One as like things on your body. So like your Armor of Shadows could be like the tattoos that demon hunters have all over them, that kind of like show like that whenever you cast Mage Armor, like they glow, and so it looks kind of cool, and it kind of gives that demon hunter flair to it. Devil's Sight is like the other one I would take immediately, because first of all you get dark vision, both magical and non-magical dark vision, and you can see through darkness, magical and non-magical, for up to 120 feet, which is like as good as Drow Sight, but in fact better because of that you can see through magical darkness part, and that's really nice. But it also kind of gives that like demon hunter you see magically, like your eyes have been ripped out and now you can see magically and everything around you. I feel that kind of goes with the demon hunter lore and how they function rather. And then you, like, as you go along, you can take different things like the Thirsting Blade, where you use your packed weapon twice whenever you use the attack action. You basically get the extra attack. Whenever you kill something with it, you gain temporary HP. You can get the jump one. Like, basically, you can just make whatever you want with the invocations. There's a lot of options, so I'm not going to read them all. But you can be whatever you want with these. But with having the dex instead of charisma gives you that fighting power, because with the packed weapon, you can have, like, short swords or scimitars. Ask your DM if, like, you can have paired weapons as your packed weapon. Because demon hunters typically have, like, dual wielding wardlaves, as they're called, but they're basically like double swords, but they're only like normal sword length, so they're not ridiculous. Like ridiculous quarterstaffs with blades at the end of them. They're just kind of like a double sword, and you have only enough room on your handle for one hand. So ask your DM if you can do that. They'll probably be fine with it, because it's just like, yeah, you can do that. Then you've got... I've lost my train of thought. Hold on. Oh yeah. You've also got the, like, flight speed from being a tiefling, so you can, like, kind of traverse differently and oddly, which kind of gives you that like sort of otherworldly feel than most other characters. Because it's like, oh, we need to jump across this chasm. Oh, well, I can fly and just fly over there and kind of like leave your people in the dust. Because you don't need a party. You're badass enough. Well, I guess we could talk about the pact. So like with the demon pact, you get like a bunch of bonus spells that you don't have to learn, which is nice because they're all like very like fiery, and also like weird, like things that you'd expect. like some decent demons to have, but not like all of them. Like command, you can get blindness and deafness. You can make other people as blind as you, but you can still see. Hee hee hee. Fireball, Stinking Cloud, Fire Shield, Wall of Fire, Flame Strike, and Hallow. Hallow's a kind of weird spell. But then, like, whenever you kill something, you gain temporary HP equal to your modifier plus your charisma, your charisma modifier and your warlock level. You can add a D10 to basically like any roll whenever you're like, I need a roll. I need a roll right now, which is always nice. You can choose one damage type for when you finish a short or long rest and you gain resistance to that type. And that's kind of nice because you, as a tiefling, you already have fire resistance, which greatly helps you anyways. But then also the Hurl Through Hell ability is kind of fun because you can basically displace an enemy for a round. They'll take a pretty solid chunk of damage, of psychic damage, because you've basically thrown them through a plane of oblivion, basically, and shit has gone down, and you're fine. Like, they'll pop back up after a turn has gone by, and then you can just wail on them if they haven't gone insane. So, this one's kind of a mess, but who cares? We're having fun with 5th edition. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. Tell me what you thought about this build. Tell me if you think that there's some things that you would add to it or change that would make it better. I haven't played this character, but I really want to. I'm just waiting for the right campaign, like the one that we're doing after this. On my Wednesday group, we're still doing Elemental Evil, so I'm holding off until we're playing Rage of Demons to hunt the demons down. Put whatever you want in the comment section below. Just kind of give us ideas of like how we're doing, what you think of the videos. You can put good stuff, you can put bad stuff. We'll read it all. We just want some feedback. We want to know if we're doing things right, if we're doing it wrong. We're probably doing it wrong, but we still want to know what people think. We want you to be as much of a part of this channel as we are. I'm Drew here with TrebleChin Entertainment, and I want you guys to remember that anything can be hunted, and they are not prepared.